All right, everybody. Monday, September 4th, enjoying Labor Day weekend here in Lake Kiwi, South Carolina. It is about 11:30, and I am joined by our athlete of the week this week, Grant Wells. Hailing from Charleston, West Virginia, Grant is entering his second year as the Virginia Tech starting quarterback. Against Old Dominion in the season opener, he went 17 of 29 with 4 touchdowns and 278 all-purpose yards. First time on the show. Grant, welcome. How you doing? How's the body doing? How you feeling?
Oh, I feel good. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Awesome. I know this wasn't your first rodeo, but for a lot of your teammates, it was. Transfers, freshmen, a lot of new faces. First time out, first game of the season, itching to get out there. All the buildup, all the anticipation. You run out to enter Sandman. The crowd is going crazy. What do you do specifically to keep yourself calm or keep the jitters from creeping in?
Yeah, I mean, that could have been my 50th time running out. It's going to seem like the first. You're never going to get used to running out, especially on a Saturday night in Lane Stadium. But, no, I know it was the first time for a lot of guys. And, I could tell the whole team was juiced up and ready to go. It was a long wait for an 8 p.m. kickoff. But no, the guys were amped up, and I thought they played really well.
You've been asked this a million times. I'm going to ask you 1,000,001 because the game's over and we all saw it now. Ollie Jennings, Jalen Lane, Daquan Felton. I want to talk about them, but I want to talk about the entire wide receiver group. How much of a difference did it make not only to have the additions, but also to have a full year working in the system and having an entire offseason to get some chemistry with that group this year?
Yeah, it makes a world of difference. With those guys being their first year, we spent a lot of time in the offseason getting to know each other, getting to know the kind of receivers they are, what kind of routes they like to run. And, they are all mature guys. They've all been playing at a high level for some time. So it was just getting to know each other, getting that chemistry down. And once we had that, I knew I had a lot of confidence in they were going to show up on Saturday and play well. And I think they did. And, the more reps we can get, the better we're going to feel about each other.
Speaking of chemistry, I think one thing that, it's the first game of the season. Everybody wants to lock in on one thing and say, this was awesome. This wasn't that awesome. 2 things that I want to ask you about. First and foremost was the offensive line. Everybody wants to talk about the run game, but nobody wants to talk about the fact that you basically had a clean pocket the entire game. So can you talk a little bit about that offensive line? A lot of shuffling going on. How is the chemistry with that group, and what do you want to say about their performance on Saturday?
Yeah, they all played great. That was a group that was a little bit young. They needed a couple snaps in them to get their confidence in, and I think it showed that they played better as the game went on. Like you said, I mean, there was no pressures, no sacks or anything like that. Anytime you can have that, that just builds their confidence. That builds my confidence in them. I knew they were going to play well, but, you never know when the lights turn on and, you have a different color jersey in front of you. But no, I'm excited about how they played. I think that they have a lot to learn. I think the whole offense does, but they're going to improve the most once they get in and watch the film and go on to next week.
Last question I have about the game specifically, a little bit of a slow start in the first half, first game of the year. Was there something schematically that Old Dominion was doing that led to that slow start, or was it more so jitters? Was it a combination of the two? What do you attest to that?
Yeah, it was a combination of the two, but I think, we had prepared them for pretty much a 4-down front all week. And, they came out and odd, that 3-3-5 look that we really weren't prepared for. We expected it a little bit, but not the whole game like they did. So it took some getting used to it. It took some, changing the run schemes that we were going to rely on heavily that week. But I think once we made those schemes, once we made those changes and really got rolling in the run game, that helped a lot. But no, it was a little bit of both. I think everybody was excited to play, but I'm excited about how we adapted throughout the game, and that shows a lot of maturity in the offense.
Grant, this is my $1 million question for you, and it's important to me because I have seen how dialogue like this affected teammates of mine, whether they be quarterbacks, whether they be at any position. Last year wasn't ideal for anybody. And the quarterback position is one of the hardest positions on the field, not just because of the on-field requirements, having to know where everyone needs to line up, but also the noise, the opinions, and the unsolicited feedback that comes your way. How exactly did you handle that this offseason? How did you handle the negativity? And I don't want this at all to come off as a anti-fan base thing, because we have incredible fans, but that's always the way that it goes, is the quarterback is going to wear a lot of it. So how did you handle it, and how did it make you better? How did it motivate you going into 2023?
Yeah, last year was tough. It was tough on everybody in the facility. I think, we knew we could have played a lot better than we did last year, but yeah, it took a lot of growth. I spoke to some people that really just implemented that. People are going to have opinions about our offense, and that's none of our business. People are going to have opinions. I love that. I mean, we have the best fan base in the world. So, but at the same time, we can't really pay too much attention about that. We have to understand that we have enough in our offensive room that we're going to be able to make some plays, and we have to trust that. We're playing with some confidence right now. I think that's only going to help us, and we pretty much have to focus on what's in the building right now. The better we play, the more amped up our fans are going to get, and that's as much motivation as we need right now.
And I have to imagine it felt awesome in the locker room post game. One of my favorite memories from last year was after the Liberty game, seeing you guys so elated, because the biggest thing that I said last year was the wins and the losses didn't necessarily shake out the way we wanted them to, but the team never quit and the team always stayed together. And seeing y'all push through against Liberty and seeing y'all win on Saturday night against Old Dominion. Just talk about how much you guys love each other, how much that meant to you, and how great that feeling felt to bring in the season the right way.
Yeah, this team's been through a lot. A new quarterback last year, a couple of new receivers this year. I mean, a new coaching staff last year for the guys that were returning. So this team is really close. We've been through a lot. We've struggled in the offseason, but, I mean, this is a really close team. And you can tell during practice, during the offseason that, guys are relying on each other. Guys are competing against each other. And that's something you really can't coach. That's something that it's hard to come by, but when you have it, you have to build on it. You have to embrace it, and I think we are. I think we're playing with a lot of confidence right now, and I think we have a lot to build on. I think we left a lot of plays out there on the field, and we have to understand that and learn this week. But no, I think we have to understand that we have enough in this building right now to achieve all our goals. We just have to stick to it. Week.
So that's it for ball. We're done talking ball. I got some get to know Grant Wells questions for you. Are you superstitious at all? Do you do anything before you lay your socks out a certain way, certain playlist before a game? Do you have any type of pregame superstition that goes on?
No, not really. I kind of listen to the same couple songs right before games, but I'm not extremely superstitious, but I do like to stick to some sort of routine, sort of do the same things in kind of the same order, but not really too much.
What is if you could have anybody, 4 people join you for dinner, dead or alive, who are the 4 people that you're bringing to dinner, and where are you going to eat?
Where we're going to eat, somewhere is seafood, probably Reds in Charleston, South Carolina. It's one of my favorite restaurants ever. 4 people, probably Dave Chappelle, Tiger Woods, I don't know. Let's Tom Brady, and I don't know, someone with a lot of conversation. Probably another comedian, probably Nate Bargatze.
Okay. What about you? You mentioned you listen to the same songs. What are you listening to? What does Grant Wells listen to?
The one song that I listened to the last is the Red Nation by The Game. Basically, I listened to Rob O'Neill said that was his last song before he went and killed Osama bin Laden. So I heard that a couple years ago, and I don't know why, but that's definitely the last song I listened to.
Isn't that don't the Chiefs play that? The Kansas City Chiefs play that in their stadium or something like that? I think
I don't know. It's a pretty popular song, but you have The Game and you have Lil Wayne on that song, so you don't really get better than
that. Who is the funniest dude on the offense?
Daquan Wright's funny in his own way. Not very outgoing, but when he does open his mouth, it's usually really funny. I'd probably have to go with him.
Okay. And then the best and worst golfer on the football team.
Best golfer, I'm going to say Nick Gallo. If I would have to pick a partner on the team, it'd be him. Worst golfer, I'm going to be pretty mean here, but he's not on the team anymore. But Drake was
Drake Deulis.
Yeah, I love playing against him. He's going to hate that.
Drake's just there to have. Drake's just on the golf course to have a good time. He doesn't care. He doesn't care which way the ball goes.
No, we have a lot of guys on the team that play golf. Right before camp, we had like 20 guys out there that we had a fun time. But I don't really know the worst.
Where do you usually? Are you usually going to the hill, or you go to the river course? Where do you usually play?
Yeah, the river course. We spend a lot of time out there, and then when we can get on the country club, we get out there.
So I remember back in my day, it was Scott Lefler, and I could do an entire podcast on the quotes and things that he would say that he says all the time. What are some of like the Coach Bowen isms that he says all the time? Is there a couple of quotes that just stick out that he says all the time?
There's a couple that I know he wouldn't want me to share. I don't know. I know here we go. He says here we go 100 times in practice. I kind of got that from him. I'm starting to say it. Other than that, I don't know. There's a lot that I know.
Yeah, let your mind run wild. We'll keep it to the G-rated ones. I'm sure Coach Lefty had a bunch of ones that weren't podcast worthy. Grant, here's the last one I have for you. Pat Finn and I, we're both over 25. You could call us unhappily unmarried. Grant Wells, happily married. Do you have any marriage advice for anybody out there? Just give us the key to success in a happy marriage, Grant Wells.
First of all, she's always going to be right. Yes, ma'am. That goes a long way. I don't know. It's great. It works a lot. Works really well for me because when I get home, I kind of leave football here and kind of go home to her. So that way it works really good for me. I know a lot of guys on the team are married or have girlfriends like that. So, it works well for me. But, the one thing that I've learned is, she's always somehow right.
Grant, wishing you the best, all the best the rest of this season. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it.